I mean, I would like your expertise on something here because I am watching the sport of basketball and playoff basketball specifically change so much in the last 5 or 10 years of whatever the Warriors have done to the sport and everyone trying to catch up to the Warriors and what they're doing, that I find myself like legitimately confused by some of the things I see in the playoffs. Just the amount of stuff happening at the rim because people are guarding against the three-pointer and leaving the rim exposed. The style of play that the Pacers play, where they score 117 last night and they're now 0-3 in the playoffs when they score less than 120 because they play faster than everyone else. But the thing I wanted to ask you specifically is, it is, of course, asinine to me that anybody would be comparing anyone playing in these playoffs to Michael Jordan. But now, after seeing Jimmy Butler put up Michael Jordan numbers, and Jalen Brunson has recently done something in the playoffs that's never been done, scoring 40 again and again and again efficiently, he's putting up numbers that have not been seen, not even by Michael Jordan. So what happens after the game last night, and I love Jalen Brunson, at least in part because some of what he's doing is confusing to me. It's like Paul Pierce in a smaller body. It's like you should be more athletic if you're going to hit all of the mid-range stuff because you can score against anybody. And here after the game is now Jalen Brunson getting Michael Jordan stuff.
What's telling you that you have to score? No one scored 40 in 4 games since Michael Jordan. Well, what's telling you you have to do this right now? Jordan?
Stop.
And I think that's Stugotz's reaction. It's my reaction. And the thing I wanted to ask you is, should we get used to this, that the numbers have been so distorted that people are going to put up Michael Jordan numbers now and they're not going to be Michael Jordan, and then we're going to do this stuff where we compare them to Michael Jordan?
I think the numbers have leveled out from where we were early in the season, where it felt like every week someone was getting 60 or 70 points. There was a clear code red called in the league office, and they said, hey, man, the 90s are back, and everyone's been fighting ever since. I mean, a lot of these playoffs have been exemplified by wrestling matches all over the floor, and everyone's wondering where the foul call is. It's what made the end of last night so surprising, is that they would call a very benign moving screen like that after 47 and a half minutes of just hand-to-hand combat. But I think what Jalen Brunson is doing is legitimately remarkable. Like, I don't think that's a case of, well, it's the game has changed and, you know, it's easier to score now. I think he's doing something quite remarkable in the face of very physical defense, maybe not by the Pacers, but certainly by the Sixers in the last round.
But Jimmy Butler did that too, and neither of these people are Michael Jordan. How are they putting up numbers that Michael Jordan never put up? Like, how is that happening if the players I know to not be Michael Jordan, even in this era, like they are not comparatively the two guys we're talking about? If you tell me Anthony Edwards, you want to enter that realm with a 22-year-old growing, I'd say okay. But Jimmy Butler and Jalen Brunson in this era are not separating themselves from the guys in that league who can be compared to to Michael Jordan.
I would say Jalen Brunson is quickly approaching the part where, yes, he is on that list.
It's 40 games per night, Dan. I mean,
40 points.
40 points.
Michael Jordan's 4 points, 4 games in a row with 40 points happened in the finals. So
yes, right.
Like Stugotz say, let's just
do it in the finals.
You dig me?
Right. Plus, Brunson is taken out. Biggest possession last night, Dan. He's on the bench because he's a defensive liability. Jordan was not. He was one of the best defensive players we've ever seen. It's ridiculous to compare anyone to Michael Jordan. It's why the guys don't want the comparison. There's a pressure that comes with it.
But Stugotz, I would say that almost no one who is talking about Michael Jordan in remembering him is talking about the defense. Next to no one is factoring that in. That's not they. In fact, before they go to defense, they go to clutch and things done in late moments that aren't defense. Even though the way he won against Utah, it wasn't even just the shot. It's that he made they pickpocketed Karl Malone in the post before that when they had the ball. Let's talk a little more about what happened last night, though. I mean, in real time, because I didn't think our show at least in part because we're happy for Stugotz, and Stugotz is a Knicks fan. The Kid Mero is going to join us here in a few minutes.
Yeah.
I don't believe I was aghast, but not everyone here reacted the way the internet did to having that game decided with 12 seconds left by not a player.
We were aghast over here. Me, Juju, Tony, everyone was like, "Whoa, what kind of call was that?" That was a crazy call to have at the end of the game. The only people who weren't aghast were Taylor and Stugotz.
And UConn, they weren't aghast. They seen it before.
Right.
Juju called that last night.
I mean, I've had 2 decades of misery. Can I get a couple of calls without people complaining about them? All right, we got some calls. We won the game. We took Indiana's best shot, and we still won the game. We won the game playing their pace. I mean,
their best shot has Halliburton scoring 6 points.
Well, if you want to blame someone, stop blaming the referees, because that guy is supposed to be an all-star. He's supposed to be their best player. He gave them nothing last night in game 1. Nothing.
He's also hurt. He's another one.
I don't want to hear it. Everyone's hurt now.
Well, Brunson's not hurt.
I mean, you do have a max contract that's hurt. Of course, you're better without it, but
I've heard that they could use a second scorer, but they did put up 120 last night. And the end of that game, Stugotz, I just don't believe you'd be making any of these arguments if that illegal screen with 12 seconds.
I'd be blasting the referees, Dan. Your larger point of the Knicks putting up 121 with 5 players who are playing 40-plus minutes every single night, I'm not certain that's sustainable. I am concerned about the Knicks.
But it's not sustainable. I mean, it's sustainable against the Pacers. It's just not sustainable to win the championship.
Right.
They can beat the Pacers because Halliburton isn't healthy, and everything. We had a great time last night. We really did. It was really nice to have Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson around here. And one of the things about their analysis, I mean, you tell me, because I don't know how many. I know Mike's consuming just a ton of basketball podcasts, Maple Leaf podcasts.
No,
He's just snorting everything.
Mike is not consuming basketball.
not basketball podcast. Gotta be honest.
Yeah.
I'm not.
He has the most annoying long-running bit now of like, oh, this happened in the NBA, and it's all like kind of this faux, oh, I'm not paying attention. Damon Stoudemire retired? When did that happen? Stuff like that. It is so damn annoying. It happens in text. It happens in real life. He came up to me today before the show while I was getting something to eat. He said, hey, I just realized today that there was a game 1 of Wolves Nuggets.
Had no idea. Swear to God. I thought that was game 1 last night. I looked at the series price and I was shocked. And it makes more sense now knowing that the Nuggets are down 0-2. No, it's not. It's not a bit. I've been traveling, but no, totally out of the loop. Had no idea game 3 of the Magic Cavs series happened.
He does this while simultaneously updating me on like, oh, the Brickyard 7000.
Oh my God! What a race at Kansas Motor Speedway! Whoa. 1/100th of a second, the closest finish in NASCAR Cup Series history. Wow. Kyle Larson's the best driver on the planet, as you were.
Before we get to that, the question I was going to ask you, is I have not heard what Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes did to Siakam last night and did to the Pacers in their analysis of that team at the end of games doesn't have what you need to have at the end of games. I have not heard former players. They went after Siakam in a way that caught me off guard.
Stack went after Siakam because of a very funny anecdote of playing pickup ball at the Rico Hines run at UCLA in the summertime, and he said Siakam's got no moves. And Stack is a very, that's a calling card of his. It's like if you show yourself to be a certain way, it's hard to change his mind. But what Matt was talking about, and that I agreed, is that the Pacers need an offensive workhorse. And that Halliburton, as great as he is, he needs someone to make better, as opposed to doing what Jalen Brunson does, because that's not the kind of player he is.
Exactly, and it was proof in the pudding last night. Nembhard was taking the final shots of the game. They was doing plays for Nembhard, which is a big indictment on Halliburton and Siakam being the number 1.
That's close.
That's cool.
Look at this finish at Kansas Motor Speedway.
Wow.
I mean, you don't get closer than that.
Oh, my God.
1/1000th of a second is the only way you can get closer than that? That's crazy.
We've left about that much for Greg Cody's thoughts.
Kentucky Derby was closer.
Oh, no. Dear God.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. Oh no. Oh, no.
My man.
No.
Thank you, Stu.
No.
Thank you, Stu.
No. No. No,
Thank you for the warm welcome, Stu.
no, he's broken out that jacket. Oh no, it's early to break out that.
It's never too early, man.
Let's go. By the way, Lewis said off camera, he's like, yo, that jacket is gas. And I said, I agree. You know why? Because it says Knicks on the front of it.
You tell
know what
him.
I'm saying? That's why. If it said Hornets or something else, it would not be gas.
Yeah, all the same things, but it says Kings. It's not the same thing, right?
Exactly.
3 years
Talk to
ago.
him, Dan. Let him know.
3 years ago, that exact jacket wasn't the same thing. I mean,
Exactly.
But now you wear it with pride, my man.
We wear pride. Like Julius said all those years, we here.
He is our senior Knicks correspondent. 7 p.m. in Brooklyn is the show he does with Carmelo. I urge you to check it out every Thursday on their YouTube channel because he has good chemistry with everyone that he interacts with. The Kid Mero is with us. Give us your thoughts last night on the officiating at the end of that game.
Come on, man. Like it is what it is, B. It is what it is.
Well said.
Okay?
Yep.
At any point in time, one fan base is going to complain about the referees. Until we get robots in the game to referee the games, it's always going to be an issue. You know what I'm saying? And like Tib said, you know what I mean? I'm worried about the 46-minute report. Forget the 2-minute report. I don't care what happens at the end because it doesn't change anything. But they call the game, like you call the game, they let them play.
The 46-minute report is what Josh Hart, what's happening to his knees. It's what Thibodeau, I like to call him Thibs for some reason when I get into the margaritas.
Yeah.
They're
But
playing,
you're sober now.
They're playing too many players. That's why I corrected it as opposed to last night where you needed to correct it. That your bench is thin. Like what happened, I don't know what the final numbers were. At some point it was 43-3. The Pacers bench was outscoring the Knicks bench, and your guys are playing a lot of minutes, but you are falling in love more and more with Jalen Brunson, right? Because who doesn't love, not since, I think Bernard King, I don't know if Melo, we haven't seen what this guy is doing.
Carmelo was never loved the way Jalen Brunson is loved right now at Madison Square Garden.
Let me tell you why. So this is New York, right? And New York loves the underdog, okay? And Melo was already mellow when he arrived in New York. This is part of the part of the situation. Jalen Brunson, Jalen Brunson's it's like Patagonia stock. Like little by little, he's been like, yo, you know what I mean? Every media personality, myself included, you know what I'm saying? I was just like, yo, I don't know. I was on that stupid, like, yo, he's not the best player on the floor. He sure is. He was like, he must have heard that and was like, yo, you know what? Since y'all said that I'm 6'2", and you can't win with a little guy, and this, that, and third, I'm going to give y'all 40 burgers every night until I beat Mike, and then y'all can't say nothing. And to top it off, bro, we have excellent energy in the Garden. Starberry's in there. LJ's in there. Spree's in there. John Starks is in there, damn near assistant coaching, okay? So the energy is love, bro. It's love. There's a different type of energy in the Garden, bro. It's not about like Melo and Ewing and this guy. It's all those guys, Pat, all those guys coming together and sitting in the arena, in the mecca of basketball, and watching this go down. Look at this. Look at the emotion, bro. Look at Starberry, man. Got a star tattooed on his head. He's a China, bro. That's my guy. You know what I mean? He's hyped, man. We are all hyped. The entire city is holding this energy, man. I'm wearing a jacket inside my house because I'm so hyped. I turn my wife and say, yo, turn the AC up for a second real quick. Open all the windows while I do Dan Le Batard Show, man. God damn it. Thank you, Stu.
And yet TJ McConnell almost did y'all in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
What was the feeling like midway through that second half and TJ McConnell's cooking y'all?
Terrified.
Oh, listen, bro. I wasn't even tripping. I wasn't even worried because for the first time in years, bro, I'm like, yo, the Knicks got this. You feel me? This is a different level of confidence, bro. Like, it must have felt like having Mike on your team back in the day or like Kobe or something where you're like, yo, fan, now we got this. It don't matter. We got this. It don't matter. Yeah.
I want to support him, but I'm with the chickens. I mean, I was terrified.
Stugotz,
TJ McConnell, look at me in my eyes, yo. You thought TJ McConnell was going to defeat Jalen Brunson?
Yeah, but it was Obi Toppin doing between the leg dunks. I mean, the whole thing terrified me.
bricks when he did that.
Anybody want
He
an
did that.
NFT?
He did that. He had to.
Mero,
he did it for us.
At the
He
end,
did it for us.
let me explain to
did
you.
it for
We,
us.
we were doing a watch party last night, and Stugotz, with 26 seconds left, while we're talking about do the Pacers need to foul on purpose here, you've got the ball, you're up by 1, and Stugotz is just muttering, "This is bad. Something bad is going to happen." You're up 1 with the ball.
Because let me tell you something. Because that has been the norm for so long. Yo, fam, you know what it's like. Y'all have pets. Who has pets? I know. Yeah, you gotta. Yeah, listen. If your dog is a rescue, it takes a little while for them to get used to. They're used to being abused, bro. You know what I'm saying? They're used to being mistreated. They're a little skittish.
You're good.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They worry. That's a Knicks fan. We're a rescue dog. We're skittish. We're a little weary of good things. If you have a treat in your hand, we're suspicious of the treat. You know what I mean? That's what Knicks fans are.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now
Yeah.
we're in a good home in a suburb of New Jersey. We live next to a baseball player that we don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're doing good, and we could poop outside in the yard, dog. And the only thing we got to worry about is foxes and like weird eagles and like that. Like, there's no more like, yo, I'm gonna get kidnapped. I'm gonna get hit by a car. Somebody's gonna steal me and sell me for a box of Newports. That's not happening no more. We're finally comfortable, and we have a good team. The Villanova Knicks, man. It's a team. It's not a guy and some other guys. It's a team.
Put it on the poll, please. Are Knicks fans skittish as rescue dogs? You say they're not just a guy and some other guys, but they are right now Brunson and a lot of parts that are easy to love, overachieving parts. And when you say they're a team, though, they've still got a guy they need to be the biggest scorer in the postseason to win the games. He's scoring more than anybody is, and they need him to be that because the other parts are exactly what you think they are, lovable because they're not quite good enough.
They're lovable, but here's where I disagree. You know what I'm saying? They are quite good enough because in the Sixers series, Jalen put up a couple stinkers. You know what I'm saying? And we still did it. We still pulled it out. So this team is very well constructed, bro. I feel like a Dante and OG can pick up extra minutes, can fill in gaps, can give you a couple extra points, you know what I mean? When Jalen is, you know what I mean? Maybe not totally on point. But hey, look, I'm just here to say one thing. The Knicks are back, okay?
Oh, he's announced
so
it.
everybody,
He's
yeah,
announced
you know what I'm
it.
saying? The Knicks are back. We're going to the Eastern Conference Finals. We're going to beat Boston in 6 games, and then we're going to the finals, and we're going to absolutely have a 7-game dogfight with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Book it. DraftKings is your sponsor. Book it right now. Book it right
Juju,
now.
you're
Zap it.
shaking your
I'm
head
sweating.
no. You're shaking your head no at him
Sweating.
saying the Knicks are back. Why are you shaking? Amin was also shaking his head no.
Exactly, because on that play, that Stugotz was scared with 26 seconds to go. Jalen Brunson dribbled off his leg out of bounds, so it's not like he was wrong. And I do not believe in these Knicks. 3 words, my brother, Timothy John McConnell.
They wasted his night. What do you mean? They'll never get that again from him.
Now, that's it. That was what he got, one of those a season. Come on, you know the storyline. That was the rookie of the year. He got one game. You know what I mean?
They wasted the McConnell
Rosenberger.
game. They
That's
did.
it.
And the Toppin
They
game.
wasted it.
Yeah.
And the top in between the legs game. Y'all wasted it. Tyrese Halliburton, 6 points, fraud. Everybody was like, yo, he's better than Jalen Brunson. He's better than the Knicks should have drafted him. Fraud. And I know why Amin is mad, because him and Ty got the same jump shot.
Okay, relax. Hold on now. Hold on. Relax.
I love you.
Relájate, mijo.
Well done.
You're my guy. I love you.
Viral decontextualization, brother.
Form is similar.
Yo, it's funny. No one remembers when Wally Zerbiak called Tyrese Halliburton a fake All-Star. That was everyone was so upset last year, and now it's like
All-Star.
This is the series where we get to see it.
Hey, shout to volleyball, man. It takes one to know one. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, he knows ball.
He's like, I know fraud All-Stars. I haven't been one.
Having been a fraudulent All-Star, I'm very familiar with the fraudulent All-Star game. Listen, bro, that's what everybody said this last All-Star game that Jalen Brunson got snubbed, whatever, and then he gave, what was it, like he was a reserve or some shit like that. Like he didn't really make it. Like it wasn't like a resounding, he's the starting point guard. You know what I'm saying? Next year, it better be.
That's one of the things I was most surprised by, like, because the Knicks were doing well, and there are Knicks fans everywhere. Why wasn't the voting better for Jalen Brunson by the fans?
That's because it's rigged. Because Adam Silver was like, I don't know if this guy's marketable yet.
Yep.
He has the little twisties. I don't know about the hair.
Hold on a second. Hold on.
He's too little.
Hold on one sec.
He's a little pudgy.
One sec.
Thank you.
Time to throw away all journalistic credibility and get reckless. Here is something we like to call reckless speculation.
You're good.
Rigged?
That's it. Reckless speculation. You know what I'm saying? Allegedly. You know what I mean? We'll sprinkle that in there.
The Knicks gonna run into the problem is, like you said earlier, their stars and their core are having to play so many minutes, bro.
Yes.
So when you run up against a team that has subs and can actually combat that, I think that's when they're gonna have a problem. The Pacers, not so much.
And that's the thing. So I believe in conditioning. You know what I'm saying? I believe in the fact that I can't play basketball for 48 minutes straight, but Josh Hart can because he's on the Tibbs plan. If I was on the Tibbs plan, I might be able to do something for 48 minutes straight. I don't know anything that I can do for 48 minutes straight except smoke weed and tell jokes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So
Preach.
I believe, thank you, Stu. I believe in Tibbs. I believe in the Knicks training staff. I believe that these guys are in tip-top shape, and they are all, this is a dog pound, y'all. This is a dog pound. To bring the analogy of skittish Knicks fans back to full circle, the Knicks are a dog pound full of angry rescue dogs, and none of them are skittish, bro. None of them are skittish, and they want to smoke with every mixed breed dog in the dog park. Okay, if you got a Cavachon or a Maltipoo, they want blood. Okay, the Knicks are here. B. The Knicks are here. They're here to cook. Okay.
Where
Get
were
outta
you?
here.
Where were you last night? I will tell the people again. New episodes every Thursday on their YouTube channel. He does 7 p.m. in Brooklyn with Carmelo Anthony. Who were you watching
right.
with? Where were you? What was the behavior like?
I was watching as is traditional in the Martinez household, you know what I'm saying? With my 3 boys, and my daughter as well, you know what I'm saying? My wife, we watched the Knicks game as a family, you know what I mean? And everybody had to go to bed because it was school and they stayed tested today, so they didn't get to see the end of it, except for Mero the third, who don't care about school, and he was just like, yo, I'm trying to see this dub. And I was like, I respect that, sir. You know what I'm saying? Stay test.
That's a good
I'll
kid.
fight with your mom about it later. Yes, smart child.
It's
Yeah,
a good,
smart kid. You know,
good fatherly lesson, I think. You want
Parenting.
to raise him correctly.
That's right.
What is the difference between him and the other children in terms of him getting a little bit of freedom there?
he just takes it. He doesn't ask for permission. He asks for forgiveness. The other kids are good kids, right? They're just
Right.
like, yo, Dad,
Right.
you know, can I? May I? He's just like, yo, I did it.
You would have that
Now
child.
what?
That child's whole life up if T.J. McConnell had won that game, man. Imagine staying up. Why'd you fail the test? I stayed up to watch T.J. McConnell cook
The
us.
McConnell cookers. You know what I'm saying? I stayed up to watch Obi Toppin do this. But he never did that on the Knicks. God damn it.
That had to feel so bad to see
Terrible.
Toppin do that in that situation. That guy in that situation go between his legs midair in a playoff game to put you up whatever 6 or 7.
It was close, too. It wasn't like a blowout at that point. The fact that he did that in the middle of a close game.
It was a 4-point game when he did it.
It was
That's why they traded his ass, bro.
the Toppin family at that moment has never felt better doing that to New York.
Well, no, they
Come on.
felt better when Mike bought that, what's that, Top Shot?
Yeah, it's still available. I've stipulated. If you want a Obi Toppin corner 3, actually, I think it's against the Pacers. So if you want an NBA top shot of Obi Toppin taking a corner 3, that's just a line drive. Let me know.
It wasn't even a
Hey,
dunk.
listen.
We take Ethereum.
Hey, look. Right now, they're like you said, they're playing the Pacers. It's against the Pacers. Sell high. Sell high. You know what I'm saying? That's what you got to do. All these electronic assets. You know what I mean? Just wait. It's so high. But listen, you know who was the happiest member of the Toppin family last night? Jacob Toppin, because he went home a winner. You know what I'm saying? He didn't get the dunk between his legs, but he got to watch a basketball game courtside in designer swag. and go home with a W.
What happened there?
Stugotz, that was amazing. Everything that Mero was saying was interrupted by Stugotz's inability to turn down the volume on his computer until he got scared of it and then just closed it.
It worked.
It did work, but not before your sausage fingers were trying to turn things off that weren't buttons to turn things off. Mero, good seeing you again.
Thank you.
It is time for Stugotz to share his game notes. No one in the media will tell you what happened better than my boy Stu.
Weekend observations
What
brought to you by Miller Lite.
What happened? What happened?
No one turned my pot on.
But it's right next to you.
I know, but it's not my responsibility. I did it. I turned it on, but it's not my responsibility.
I'm sorry, Stu.
Apology accepted.
The cycle is broken.
Huh.
Your voice still sounds like that cycle's not broken. You need to apologize for it.
Sorry, I'm not sorry.
Anyway, brought to you by Miller Lite. Great taste, 96 calories, available for delivery. Dan, playoff basketball and hockey is great. But let's be honest, we all miss football. Luckily, this week, we get our fix. And boy, do I need it. I have been refreshing my computer every hour, waiting and waiting. Who plays who? When? Winners? Losers?
Really?
Rookies? Rivalries? Rematches? Football?
You want the schedule?
Do I want the schedule? Here we go, because Dan, make no mistake about it, the NFL schedule release week is back. It's big. You're not excited?
There is football going on right now.
There is?
Yeah.
If you say so.
I'm not even paying that much attention to the league this year, but the ratings for it are crazy. They're getting over 1 million viewers for these games.
For real?
Yeah.
Huh.
Again, I guess putting it on the main networks is helping.
Speaking of back, in less than 2 weeks, Dead and Company. J.J. Watt telling D'Amico Ryans he'll come out of retirement if the Texans need him. First off, they don't. Secondly, of course he wants to come back when the Texans get good to ride some coattails. Dan, the J at J.J. Watt stands for Johnny Come Lately. Enough of him, man. JJ, just so we're clear, any Super Bowls won with this Texan team won't count as a ring or a Super Bowl championship in my personal record book. Speaking of, StugottsBook.com. Just so we're clear, and this is for Dan and all the people in charge of Metal Arc, starting May 17th, whenever there is a Dead and Company show, there's a good chance I won't be here. If I am, consider it a bonus. Also, I'll likely figure out a way to expense most of my trips.
This is how he puts in for PTO. Right now, that's how he did it.
Someone tell Whittingham. A second top 5 basketball players that connote marijuana. I left a few on the table last night for Barnes and Stack.
That was delightful. I have not, in our company, Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes haven't found anything as funny as they found that.
OLI. Haywood Highsmith. Number 5, Puff Johnson. Number 4, the great Herb Williams. Number 3, Rip Hamilton.
All good. All good.
Number 2, Zaza.
Amen.
And number 1, Dr. J. Watch out for the Mariners.
Mike has been watching out for the Mariners.
Good team.
He is a Mariners fan.
Yep.
Best pitching staff, arguably ever?
Oh, come on.
Mike.
Question mark?
Mike.
Well, they have to
Mike.
finish the story, but they are damn good.
The Braves.
How do the Angels have the same record as the Houston Astros?
I don't know.
Astros have been bad this year.
The Maple Leafs did what the Maple Leafs do. Am I wrong? what they do. Between this series and Kendrick Lamar's diss tracks at Drake, it was a tough weekend for Toronto. The Six, Smetty, saying she's moving for the 5th time this month to avoid coming here last night for a Knicks watch-along. Smetty, heady play. Also, the Stugotz is strong in you. Stugotz. Boomer Esiason saying the key for the Knicks to beating the Pacers is playing Precious Achua. More is what New York sports radio is all about. Booms. Precious played 4 minutes last night. They were fine. Dan, you throw that out there. I'm telling you right now, you take calls on it for 4 hours, you get a 17 share.
Yeah.
More Precious. I love that station.
Pat Riley took him over Maxey. 1 pick before.
Ooh, that hurts.
Not as bad as the Justice Winslow one over Devin Booker, but it's up there.
The only way I get excited about the Jets drafting an offensive lineman in the first round is if they pick the 17-year-old sumo wrestler that wrestled Micah Parsons.
No way that kid's 17, by the way. No chance. I need to see a birth certificate.
Jimmy Butler saying if I was playing Boston and New York, they'd be home. Dan, you know what the J in Jimmy Butler stands for?
I do not.
It stands for just shut the up already.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Mark it.
Greg Cody
That's
loves
disrespectful.
that. Yeah.
All season, Jimmy said wait for the playoffs. Hey, Jimmy, we're waiting.
Fair.
Jimmy Butler also called out and dissed Josh Hart. Jimmy Butler would need a week off if he played Josh Hart's minutes.
I mean, he did in the bubble.
Oh, enough.
They never got to play that Jimmy part of the commercial, the playoff Jimmy, Chris. Sorry, bro.
T-Wolves beating the Nuggets in Game 2. Statement game. Random thought. How did Tom Crean's Georgia team with Anthony Edwards finish tied for 13th in the SEC?
It's a great question.
Thank you.
There's a great answer to it. Yeah. That's why he's not there anymore.
The Cavs and Magic should have to keep playing until a road team wins. The rare series that finished before it ever got started. Weird, that series. Cavs fans chanting, "We want Boston." Cavs fans, you don't.
No, you don't.
The Jets' schedule hasn't been released yet, and I already have them starting 0-3. I hate them. Tom Brady getting mad at the Robert Kraft massage joke. That massage joke really rubbed him the wrong way. Darvin Ham, thank you very much.
Well
the
done.
rare coach to be fired after winning the in-season tournament. The nerve. Darvin Ham. Death, taxes, and LeBron's coach getting fired after underperforming. Seriously, how many coaches have been fired under LeBron? The L in LeBron stands for look in the mirror.
He's had 10 coaches?
He's got as many coaches fired as Michael Jordan has rings. Listen, if we were defining greatest basketball player of all time by how many coaches you get fired, LeBron would be the greatest basketball player of all time.
Is it 10? Has he played for 10 coaches in the pros?
Yeah.
They had a debate yesterday on First Take whether or not LeBron playing for 10 coaches affects him in the GOAT conversation. Great topic.
It
Who
does.
won?
Yeah.
He's on mute.
JJ Redick, Lakers, collision course. Dan, you know what the D in Donovan Mitchell stands for?
I do not.
Do it against Boston. Mystic Dan, winning the Kentucky Derby by a nose. Game of inches. Also, horse racing is dead. And it's done. I mean, no one cares.
What about harness racing?
Greg's going to bring it back.
Who won? Who won?
Jalen Brunson getting to go up against former Mavericks coach Rick Carlisle after Carlisle benched Brunson in the 2021 playoffs. Revenge series. To the referee that gave Anthony Edwards a tech for just staring somebody down in a second-round playoff game, get over yourself. Nobody, and I mean nobody, is going to that game to watch you. By the time next season rolls around, the media will once again convince us that the Clippers are contenders. The Clippers said they'd like Paul George and James Harden back with Kawhi next season. I have a question. Kawhi. Thank you.
That is a Greg Cody special there.
like
That
it.
is not the ally you want on that joke. I like that joke as well, Stugotz, but Greg Cody liking that joke.
I like Greg as my
Greg
ally.
Cody
Yeah,
likes
I do.
the
I love you, Greg.
the wordplay, the happier Greg Cody is.
Thank you.
Mark Cuban, send me your address so I can send you a personal thank you note for Jalen Brunson. Shohei Ohtani going 8 for 12 this weekend as LA sweeps the Braves. It is completely unfair that he is their third best hitter. It's ludicrous.
Yep.
Thank you.
He's not.
Really?
I mean, Mookie Betts has been better this year.
Yeah, MVP.
Freddie Freeman?
We've got some Ohtani stats for you.
He's great.
No one's disputing his greatness.
Do it on the mound.
I mean, you got me there this season. But concentrating on hitting is kind of working out for him.
It's pretty good.
You know what I did before the Stars Knights on Sunday night? I put the kids to bed. They're in college, but I called them, and I demanded they go to bed right now. They did. Dan, you know what you do when Jokic is getting played off the floor by Naz Reid?
What do you do?
You pack it in and regroup.
Okay. So, Mike Malone, you've been told
Yeah.
you need to pack it in and regroup.
When Nikola Jokic is winning championships, he looks like a generational talent. When Nikola Jokic is losing by 26 points at home to go down 0-2 in the Western Conference semifinals, he looks like Brian Cardinal, but worse.
I mean, are you shaking your head because he still hasn't learned how to say his last name?
Jokic sounds like something I need new bag for.
Cards.
Courtesy of Sarah Langs, Ohtani, most extra base hits in the league. Ohtani, most hits in the league. Ohtani, best batting average in the league. Ohtani, most runs in the league. Ohtani, most total bases in the league. Ohtani, best on base percentage. Ohtani, best slugging percentage. Hand in hand, Ohtani, best OPS in the league. Also, he's had 52 hits in his first 35 games as a Dodger. He never had 52 hits in any span of 35 games as an Angel. It would seem that concentrating on hits and just hitting alone without having to pitch at all,
Right.
if he just did that over the course of his career and you extrapolated these numbers over what would have been his career, we're looking at possibly the home run king
Maybe.
and clearly the greatest hitter of all time.
Also leads the majors in illegal bets. What happened?
Allegedly.
Did Orlando lose or did Cleveland win?
Did that series even happen?
I have no idea.
If it happened, if a tree falls on NBA TV,
I cross that one out. Hold on. Actually put that in there.
oh yeah, No, great minds.
A's beating the Marlins 20-4. The rare game with more runs than fans. If a game 7, I'm sorry, if a 7-game series between Cleveland and Orlando happened,
I thought you
but no
crossed
one
it
saw
out.
it, no one cared.
You didn't
Did it
cross it.
actually happen?
You didn't cross it out? What
I did
happened?
it.
Oh, but you didn't use a
Too
tree
close.
line.
Yeah.
You didn't use a tree line. Oh. All right, NBA TV. I feel like I had the better end.
Le Batard should change his name to Mystic Dan. It's a good name.
Dan, why do you have bet? Are you just focusing on hitting?
Jalen Rose.
The T in Twins stands for 12 out of 13. Watch out. Twinkies. Happy belated anniversary to Dan Le Batard, who 2 years ago on Sunday wore gym shorts to a Formula One race. F1. F-U. Thought you were going to say that to me. You did it. For those of you who decided to compare Anthony Edwards to Michael Jordan, I have some advice. Don't.
Thanks.
In fact, I'm keeping tabs.
Uh-oh.
And all of you
Uh-oh.
who have dared let those words come out of your mouth into a live microphone. You have until the close of business today to shove those words right back in your mouths. COB. I love a good keeping of the tabs. If you think Tom Thibodeau is giving the Knicks a day off today, you simply don't know Tom Thibodeau. If you think Tom Thibodeau was happy with that victory last night, you don't know Tom Thibodeau. 4-hour practice, 1 hour of stretching, 2 hours defensive drills, and then sprints.
Thibs.
This is probably unfair and irresponsible of me, but every time I see Dana White, I assume he's on cocaine.
Seemed to be some of that going on there. Not with him, particularly. He wasn't the one that stuck out.
Name names. The least shocking thing in sports is that J.J. Watt thinks the Texans are a J.J. Watt away from winning a Super Bowl. Get over yourself. What did I get from the Tom Brady roast? He's coming back. You agree?
I do not.
Giselle's upset, by the way.
So is Aaron Hernandez's family and a whole bunch of people.
I mean, Giselle has a right.
Ouch.
What happened there? I haven't felt that bad for someone being roasted since me and Dan were roasted by Mark Ockman.
Wow.
I felt bad for us that night.
Old memories.
Good callback.
Top 5 people in sports I want to see roasted next. OLI, Stephen A. Smith. Good one.
That's a good one.
That is a good one.
He'd be great.
He'd do all the facial
Yes.
things when, like they make a joke at his expense. He's like, ah.
He would do all of that.
He would. You're right. Number 5, Barry Bonds. Number 4, Aaron Rodgers. Number 3, Tiger Woods. Number 2, Derek Jeter. And number 1, LeBron James. Top 5 people I'd like to see roast LeBron James. Number 5, Andy Ellisberg. They made him wait for hours outside in the casino with Riley. Number 4, David Blatt.
Wait, you had Andy Ellisberg like at the slots?
Yes.
Just,
They
How'd it
were.
go,
They were
Pat?
playing blackjack.
They were.
They were. They were waiting playing blackjack.
Number 3, Dan Gilbert. Number 2, Pat Riley. And number 1, of course, J.J. Barea. Nobody caught more strays in the Tom Brady roast than Aaron Hernandez, which I thought was unfair, since he's already getting roasted in hell. Speaking of hell, Art Briles. Dan, those are the weekend observations.
What if it's a game 7?
Changes everything.
Greg Cody and
Which
Stugotz, during the break were unbelievable and not surprising on Greg Cody and Stugotz, incidentally, who will miss being somewhere where they have to be for the silliest of reasons, just arguing very passionately on behalf of you have to be there for your teammates, as if your wife is not one of your teammates. It's not as if your wife is not your life teammate.
We were saying the first child is more important. It's more important that you be there for the first child than any other child. That's it. That's all we were saying.
Okay, but there are any number of circumstances in a pregnancy that involve a great deal of pain and fear and danger that, maybe you can't do
Same
anything.
for the playoffs.
Let's say the elephant in the room right here. when you got enough money, you can pay for all these things to sit around your wife while you go slay the Joker. So if she needs some comfort, guess who I'm finna pay? The $100 an hour mother trucker. He gonna sit right here, and I'm gonna get a wet nurse. I'm gonna get a bit. Ladies, don't counsel me. I'm gonna get everything, all the accoutrement.
A doula?
for childbirth.
I'm just trying to figure out Monday afternoon / Monday evening, what was he doing that provided her comfort?
Lucy, your silence here is conspicuous.
Can we stop going to me as the woman, please? Look, my take, if I have a kid and my husband leaves, I'm divorcing his ass so fast.
Wow.
So fast. But that's just me. I don't care what these people do. Live your life. Hope your kid doesn't see you left later in life. I'm sure it won't mess with them, in their brain.
If that's the case, though, you'd argue staying and playing with your teammates is the right move because your wife would not be your life teammate. She divorces you for not being there.
Fickle.
My parents are divorced. I turned out fine. I'm not worried about my future kid.
What was that sound? Who made that sound when Lucy said I turned out fine? Where'd that come from? Was that a meme?
Snitch.
I just didn't know where it came from. It was a genuine, curious question. I thought it was Billy. I'm so used to a stray sound, a sound of shrapnel hitting the.
Mean.
My therapist that I see weekly and have to see weekly says I'm doing great.
Your court-ordered therapist.
Why are we breaking this down? They didn't even lose, so it didn't really matter.
Because of how passionate Gilbert Arenas' opinion was.
But why does that matter? I don't.
who cares?
No,
Why? Like, this is a good question that I'm asking. Why does it matter what
Agent
Gilbert
Zero,
Arenas
I mean,
thinks
who
about
cares?
this? Like, I know he's a talking head. We all have our opinions. Like, what?
It's because he got Wally pipped. That's why.
That's
The
right.
story that no one's talking about. Timberwolves better without Rudy Gobert. Mike Collum.
They won with Rudy.
They're better without him.
Nas Reed.
Nas Reed is a better fit.
He's a good player.
Yes, he is.
He is.
And if people don't care about what Gilbert Arenas is saying, they definitely don't give a damn about what I'm saying. I can't even talk right now.
Oh, but you guys can object.
I'm with you.
This is something that I have heard talked about. This has been a source of debate and conversation for a long time. It's not just Gilbert Arenas. This is something that I've heard talked about in sports for a great deal of time. One of the things that I did find interesting about that Timberwolves Nuggets situation is quietly A-Rod is hurting and Glenn Taylor is like, ooh, I'm feeling pretty good about everything that's happened here in my ownership of the team now that I have the most interesting Timberwolves team I've ever had, because I think Kevin Garnett made one Western did he make
With the T-Wolves.
Yeah,
One time.
One time.
Sam
Cassell, Sprewell.
but this is the best Timberwolves team I've ever seen. I've not seen one better than this. I have not seen one more championship worthy than this. And Glenn Taylor, the owner of the Timberwolves, wasn't for a moment. He was selling the team to A-Rod. It's still a bad trade for Gobert, correct? Whether you think they're better with or without him, that remains a dumb trade that we were all making fun of, even though the Timberwolves are better, right?
Yeah, I think me and Stugotz were talking about this yesterday.
Yeah.
It's a bad trade unless they win a championship, in which case nothing matters, right? At that point.
Oh, it could still be a bad trade, though.
No.
They can win a
No.
championship.
For the Minnesota Timberwolves win a title with Rudy Gobert on the roster, great trade.
It's a great trade.
They could
Yes.
never have a draft pick again.
No doubt. But they got
Great
a
trade.
bit lucky here. Ian and I were talking about this yesterday, and the fact that Anthony Edwards turned into this, Dan, is what made that trade so good, because no one was expecting this at that time.
Yeah.
Well, at the time of the trade, they had an idea that, wow, this guy's pretty good.
That's why they made the trade.
Has Gobert helped him in any way, though, with his development, in your opinion?
Has Anthony Edwards?
Yeah.
I think it's allowed him to be a more aggressive defensive player.
Well, there you go.
But at the time, we were mocking that trade because it's a three-point shooting league, and they were getting big men.
Oh, and the amount that they traded for it, because it was not.
Correct.
They gave up a
Yes.
lot.
They gave up a lot. And, when you talk to the Minnesota people, they'll tell you, things really started clicking when they acquired Mike Conley last season. That's the piece that kind of made everything start to gel, and they saw the beginnings of what we saw this season with that Conley deal. But, Dan, the reality is, like Mike just said, they win a championship. You give every single pick for the rest of the time for that. This is, I believe, up until a couple of years ago, was the losingest franchise in the history of American professional sports by win percentage. There has been no team that's been worse. We talked about Kevin Garnett going to the conference finals. That was the last time they won a playoff series, right? They went to the conference finals in 2004 and then didn't go to the playoffs for another 17 years after that. This is an organization that is, we make fun of the Clippers. Everybody makes fun of the Clippers. But really, when you talk about the biggest losers ever, it's the Minnesota Timberwolves. So if they win a championship, and hell, even if they go to the finals, to be honest with you, I think they walk away feeling like it was worth it. It was worth that many picks.
It's interesting that you say that because the way that you guys are describing it, there is no hypothetical scenario that I could provide you that if you win the championship, you can also have made a bad trade, even though you just got done saying they're better without him. And so I still think it's a bad trade, and I will think it's a bad trade, but it does matter how much he gives them the rest of the way. But you just got done saying they're better without him.
Dan, I'm going to put it to you like this. We put this on Oddball today, I believe. The Clippers gave up 8 million picks for Paul George, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander went in that deal. And everyone's kind of doing the victory lap because Shai's been amazing and those picks are never ending. But the reality is, if the Clippers win a championship because they had Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, it's all worth it. Yep. They don't care. Nobody cares. This isn't the Yankees where you have 8 million championships and it's like, what's an extra one? For teams like the Clippers and the T-Wolves, it's worth it.
But now, if Paul George wants to go to the NBA Finals, his only shot is by downloading the Game Time app. That's right. Hopefully, he hasn't created one yet, because if he creates an account today and he uses the promo code Dan, he could get $20 off his first purchase.
Done should also work, but Dan is the
It's
promo
Dan.
code.
Please stop talking. Terms apply. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. That is promo code. Let me be very clear because I screwed it up the first time, and Dan jumped right on it. DAN. Promo code Dan. You can see what your seats look like. Technology is an amazing thing. Lowest price guaranteed. Great customer service, and you get flash prices right before tip-off sometimes. The ticket prices dip. Game Time has got your back. Promo code Dan. D-A-N.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.